This is David with Corel Trainer.
This is Cassie Green from Apparelist.
This is Gordon and Firemark from the Entertainment Law Update.
And you're listening to
Two Regular Guys podcast.
Hosted by Terry Combs RG, Regular Guy, and Aaron Montgomery.
The place to be for industry news.
the best dad jokes on earth, along with relevant topics to apparel decorators.
Prepare for the wild.
All right, welcome into the show. It is Friday, January 10th, 2025. I'm Terry Combs, and you can find me at terrycombs.com. Happy New Year, Aaron.
Thank you, Terry. Happy New Year to you. My name is Aaron Montgomery. I'm with our Success Group, and I get to coach business owners away from stress and anxiety towards clarity and confidence. And Terry, I didn't know what to do with myself these last few Fridays. I feel I was lost, but now I am found, right? Is that how the song goes?
It is indeed.
Well, I am excited to be back, Terry. And like you said, Happy New Year, and Happy New Year to everybody. I see Doug checking in already, coming in from West Hills, California, just outside the Kenneth fire. And I know they evacuated yesterday, so it's great to hear that he's back in their home, and thank God for all the amazing firefighters. So yeah, let's give a quick shout out to all of the firefighters and people dealing with those fires over there in California. And then Rena says, good morning from SoCal. Glad to hear you're safe, Doug. So yeah, everybody over there in California, we're hoping and praying for you and your homes and, and all that stuff. So it's been a rough go over there, it looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. And certainly in our thoughts and prayers, just like you said. Yeah. So, on with our show, though.
Yeah, on with our show, though. Not to, again, just wanted to point that out and saw Doug's comment there. But yeah, Terry, this is another one of those annual shows that, I don't know how these things came about, right? We have the Reggies, we have the, and we're just like, oh, this seems kind of like a cool thing to talk about. And it's like, well, we can talk about this every year. So this is our 13th year of doing this, I'm pretty sure. I tried to go back as far as I could where we had notes. Obviously we can go and listen to all those early podcasts, but 10 things we would like to see for this upcoming year, 2025. And I think what's cool about this, Terry, is we can go back a few years and kind of see. And so it's a cool opportunity for us to just go back and go, okay, what were our kind of hopes, dreams, aspirations, and what came to fruition and what still needs work. And so that'll be part of the show today too, Terry, is kind of looking back to what we talked about last year. And then obviously getting the regulators involved here, Terry, is also something I'm really excited about. I want to hear what you guys would like to see in 2025. So more on that to come, Terry. It's going to be an awesome show today, and we're going to do our best to tighten things up, but I'm obviously already talking a lot, so we'll see how it goes.
And I came in hot, so all right. Be sure to stay to the very end for the secret sauce. I'm going to be doing the sauce today. I'm going to be sharing another screen printing sauce, so hang around to hear about enhancing your screen printing business with specialty inks. And of course, this concept is applicable to other decoration methods as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You had me at enhancing, right? And then
I'm going to refer to it in one of my things I'm looking forward to seeing in 2025. So this show is just tied up in a bow, man.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful bow. I can't wait. Speaking of can't wait, it is so good to be back here. And one of the reasons I love being back here at Two Regular Guys is we get to be around amazing people. And one of those amazing people is Adrienne Palmer with dtfprinting.com. And she's got some news for us, doing the hard work of kind of post-holiday and all that other stuff. But she's got some headlines for us here. So we're excited to welcome Adrienne back here.
All right, let's hear the news.
Hey everyone, happy first show of 2025. In case you missed it, GSG, a supplier in the sign, digital printing, and apparel decorating marketplace, has announced its acquisition by Grimco, a supplier in the sign and graphics industry. GSG will continue to operate as a separate company for the majority of this year. GSG customers can continue placing orders through their usual channels. Eventually, GSG will be fully integrated into Grimco. 613 Originals has unveiled the Pocket Partner Toolkit, a reference guide designed to streamline the custom heat transfer process for apparel decorators. The Pocket Partner offers valuable information in an easy-to-use format, so make sure you get your free digital version of the guide today. And also, DTF Printing is hosting the 2025 DTF Printing Trends and Insights Strategies for Growth and Profitability webinar on Wednesday, February 12th at 11 a.m. Eastern with Johnny Schell and David Sweetnam of Keypoint Intelligence. The live webinar will provide DTF printers, vendors, and suppliers ways to grow their business and the industry with the latest data points and trends. You can register for the webinar and read all industry news at dtfprinting.com. And before I go, one quick addition. If you're attending Impressions Expo Long Beach, Unite Together will be in the Rock Atrium raffling off 2 prizes, a signed guitar by Hawthorne Heights and a Yeti cooler, and all proceeds will go to relief for the LA wildfires. We hope all of our LA-based apparel decorators are safe. So make sure if you're at the Long Beach show, stop by that booth. Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Adrian,
All right.
yeah, great stuff. Thank you, Adrian, and cool. I love that bonus she popped in there at the end. That sounds like a great opportunity and a great opportunity to support where do our part where we can for the wildfires. When I say we, people that go check out the raffle and participate in that program. So good stuff there, Terry. What else stood out from Adrian's conversation there?
Well, I love Keypoint Intelligence, Johnny Schell. That's going to be fabulous because, man, that guy is a fountain of knowledge and statistics and really useful information, in my opinion. So,
Yeah.
Besides being a great guy and a long time friend of ours,
Sure.
But, and I'm loving the 613 Originals Pocket Partner too. That's we need more of that kind of thing. But I think we should start whenever Adrian's on. We should start with where in the world is Adrian Palmer, because it didn't look like that was her home office. And I know the last time she was on, she was broadcasting from Spain.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's a good point. So, all right, Adrian, every time now you have to tell us, okay, I'm coming to you from. I love it. Well,
right.
Terry, one of the other things I was missing, in fact, I was running out of good dad jokes over the holiday. So I think I needed this dad joke. I saw this in the notes. I'm like, oh, good. And then I was able to share that with my son, and it was approved. So
Awesome. Lewis approved is what I'm looking for.
That's right. Well, very, very good, Terry. So are you ready to bring us the dad joke?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
So, Aaron, what's a spider's New Year's resolution?
I'm not sure, Terry. What is a spider's New Year's resolution?
In 2025, to spend less time on the web.
He's got a strolling problem.
I had Eric covered up. Was that a shaking his head or a thumbs up?
I think it was both, maybe more shaking of head though than anything.
Well, there was no having to translate. Or did you pop up there? Spider's web, the internet.
Yeah. Well, I just like that now his banners have emojis on them too. So that's I love it. All right, Terry. Well, let's keep rolling here. We've got lots to cover today, and we promised ourselves our New Year's resolution was to tighten things up a little bit. So let's see how we do.
Exactly right. But hey, Aaron, before we get started, we want to thank everybody for checking out the Two Regular Guys podcast. We always need your voices, so we would love the regulators to do a show intro, just be a part of the show intros anyway. And to participate, go to decorators.ink./intro, read a few sentences, be a part of the show. We are also always looking for new guests. I'm seeing that schedule starting to fill up a little bit, but we would love to have some new folks on the show. Or if you've been, it's been a while since you've been on the show, we'd love to have you back. So go to calendly.com/2, the number 2, regular guys, to book a future episode, or you can email us at info@2regularguys.com. If you are listening to the podcast version of the show, we would appreciate you sharing the Two Regular Guys podcast with all of your industry friends so they can become regulators too. And we always appreciate you giving us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube Podcast. Wherever you do your podcast listening, we are there. And if you're watching us live right now, as Aaron said, join in and tell us what you would like to see in 2025 as well.
Yeah, definitely. Excited to have you guys joining in on the comments. In fact, Doug already popped one in there. So if you are just jumping on, right, you're just rolling in here, we kind of highlighted at the start of the show what today was all about, the 10 things we'd like to see for 2025. But because we've been able to do this for the last, this will be the 13th year, so the last 12 years, it also gives us an opportunity to kind of look back and say, okay, how was our crystal ball working, so to speak, right? And
Exactly.
So if we go back to last year, Terry, I think what we can do is we don't need to probably go into deep detail, but just kind of highlight what we brought up last year, and then maybe as far as we're concerned, status update, and and then we can kind of go from there. Does that sound like a good plan?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
I'll start. My first one last year was among manufacturers and distributors. I would love to see more ongoing training and support. Unfortunately, Aaron, it feels like it's going in the opposite direction. Beyond 613 Originals, right there from the news, offering a tool to help you do better transfers or apply transfers in a better way. But Aaron, there are companies now that some manufacturers used to require you to do setup on-site training. Then it went to Zoom training, and some of those companies now, unfortunately, are saying to their dealers, "Do training, don't do training. We don't care." And it just flabbergasts me and disappoints me. But I will hope ongoing that will change. But I'm not understanding it because if somebody is trained and knows how to use the equipment, guess what? They'll be successful with it and they'll buy more. Yeah. Maybe that's what vendors and manufacturers need to know about. But how about your next one, Aaron?
Well, just real quick on that too. I think because of all of this, I think it's a lot DTF related. All of the popularity. People, I think, saw a gold rush. And so all these companies came in and said, oh, I just need to slap as many machines out there as I can. Yeah. I mean, we saw that back in the DTF or I'm sorry, the early DTG days where everybody was trying to get in on that gravy train, but they
flood of distributors and then they were gone.
Yeah, because of the fact that their customers were not successful, right? Because they didn't do the education that's needed to make them successful. I mean, while it's an amazing and incredible technology and tool, it's not, the magic button, right? You do
right too. Well, and not to blow our own horn, but Equipment Zone has built the company on training and support. I mean, Equipment Zone is the number one distributor for Epson's DTG printers, number one distributor, not in the US, in the world. And why? Because of training and support. Yeah. And I'm just not understanding these companies that are abandoning that.
Yeah. So. Totally understand. Yep. Okay. Well, like I said, we want to tighten up, but I thought that was of note there. So then the first one that I start off with in 2024 was hope for more support for grassroots programs. Working with Skills USA, obviously that stood out for me, and I got to list off the folks that we're supporting, and just wanted to kind of maybe push people to go a little further. And with that, the students and the younger generation that is going to make up our industry. How are we, kind of looking at that, right? Is again, sometimes we get lost in okay, I got to make money right now today. And we don't think enough about our future, where your employee is going to come from. Well, right, if you're complaining about not having employees, maybe you should look back at what you did to support young people coming up, right? Like, anyhow, I'll get on my soapbox and it'll get out of hand here, Terry. But
I know you're passionate about this.
yes,
So.
yes.
Okay.
I reminded myself, hold on a second, New Year's resolution, tighten it up. But I'm not sure if I saw like specific a lot of things, but the one real kind of highlight that I just want to give a huge shout out to Stalls. They do an equipment package quarterly, and they do it for schools and up and coming businesses that you can apply for. I've been fortunate enough to be asked by them to help them decide which schools, and actually joining their business program this year as well. So I just think that's really cool, right? They're a big company that's been around for a long time, doing a lot of really good things for a reason. And I think a big reason is they understand that they need to not just focus on the present. They need to be looking towards the future and giving, their potential customers, schools and things like that, a leg up is a great way for people to go, oh yeah, Stalls took care of my school when I was there. Now I'm in the market for anything that they offer, right? And it
Right.
goes there. So I would call that a win, I guess.
And I guess I kind of started off negative with the companies that are going away from training. Then you have a company like Stalls that, I mean, it's not like, hey, let's do a webinar and let's pull a sales rep over. No, they've got staff. All they do is train and give you new ideas about how to decorate, and they do a great job with it, and it's obvious from their success.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, Chuck Peterson says, good. First says good morning, and then he says education and support after the fact are key. Yeah, so really good point. All right, Terry, what's your next one?
My next one was that maybe garment decorating is a little like high school, and a lot of cliques, and industry cliques are tasked with education and managing groups and writing articles and things like that. And I don't think this has changed very much.
Yeah.
Hopefully this isn't a trend, by the way, with me. I definitely have some positive results here too, but I'm just taking them in the order that I did them. But I mean, even to the point of, I read an article a few months ago by one of the people that, you always see writing articles. They clearly were out of their element. They wrote, there was an article and assigned that article because you're in the group.
Yeah.
And it was just filled with inaccuracies. And I was just thinking, you know what? There are people in this industry that work in this area. They know all about it. Why wouldn't you seek out one of those people to write this article rather than, and of course the editors, they don't know. They're
not industry
like me. They're journalists,
Yeah.
And so they read it and think, well, it must be right. And anyway, I just
I not to call it. I mean, there are some amazing editors. Adrian and Marsha Derryberry and some really great people. But again, some of them are coming to this and they're just not sure. And I don't know. Like you said, I've seen a few that just like, wow, okay. Nobody actually read that either side.
and the thing is, the editors, well, they're there to make it readable, to make it so that people can understand it. They're not there to fact check it. That's my concern was, well, I got a call from Jay Bassell and he's like, go read this article. I can't believe it. Go read it and call me back. So anyway.
All right. Well, let's keep going. Yeah. Again, I hope this isn't a trend, but in reviewing it, I think we got some work to do, right? We're okay. So we also then talked, about education and the seminars and stuff like that. And so I kind of piggybacked on what you were sharing and just saying, we also need educators to step up and say, hey, I'm interested. But I don't know. I guess I kind of realized this year that probably wasn't the issue. It probably was the other side. And because I've even experienced myself where it's like, okay, I believe that there's something that, and I'm not saying this because I got turned down. I don't care about that. That doesn't matter. Right. But just looking at then what shows up, man. So anyhow, I guess, yeah, hopeful that the organizers take a deep look in the mirror here and say, how important is education to us? Are we willing to just bring in, you know, the same people over and over again because they're free? Or are we willing to, you know, kind of say, yes, we do want to educate, not just be a trade show or a hub. We want to provide good education. So I don't know. I guess my point is it feels a little stagnant. One that hate to name names, but this one just stood out as glaring to me. The APA show, which used to be an amazing show. I was reading through the educational classes and I'm like, okay, we talked about every little piece of equipment, but how are people going to actually make that equipment work for them? Where's the growth? Where's the big picture? Where's a little bit deeper and more current information, right? So it was pretty underwhelming. Now, I'm not just to say that every single one, there definitely are some highlights. So I'm not trying to like poo-poo on all of it, but just as an example, I guess, Terry, was what stood out to me.
So they didn't have 52 niche markets in 52 minutes.
They did not have that. How to turn on your laser printer.
For anybody that doesn't know, we've laughed about it many times. I did a seminar at Impressions Expo called 52 Niche Markets in 52 Minutes. And Aaron laughed at me when he goes, it's impossible. And one woman came up to me afterwards and she goes, you know, after you did the first one, I thought there's no way he's getting to 52. I was like 10 minutes in on the first one, but I agree with you. You know, they're here's how you turn it on, but how do you sell? How do you find markets? How do you price? How do you need all those things? And you know, I do feel though for the people who are putting these events on, because people fear death less than public speaking. And so it's scary when you get, you know, Aaron, it's the
Absolutely.
first time I thought I was going to throw up the first time I did.
Yeah.
Of course, that was, you ready? 1991.
I was a junior in high school. So, okay. Yeah, exactly. And again, I'm not trying to call anybody out specifically. That was an example, and there's lots of good. So I want to just be really clear with everybody that, you know, we can do better. And like you said, you know, it can be difficult. Now, in today's world where we're sharing everything online anyhow, you know, make that, to put some effort into it and make that a presentation and go share what you know, right? So yeah, but you know, in my experience, even just going and creating something really cool and saying, cool, I'm ready to share what I know. That I don't know. It's like they've gotten rid of their budget for education, and you know, but yet they're still charging people for it. So
that's the first word you hear. We don't have any budget for this, but could you do an article for me on
for free? Yeah.
For free.
You get what you pay for, folks. All right, let's keep moving, Terry, before I get myself in more trouble here.
On a positive note, Aaron, my next one was, I believe with the surprising success of DTF that by Printing United, we'll see more of the major industry manufacturers making a serious plunge into DTF technology. So at Printing United in Las Vegas, Epson introduced a prototype of their own DTF printer. Stay tuned on that. And of course, Mamaki has been shipping their own machines. And, you know, customers out there are, I remember with DTG, Aaron, that you and I sold machines that they were the best that we could make at the time. And we sold tens of thousands of them.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as a player like Epson got involved, it changed everything, because they had the huge network of support. And so I think people are hungry for that, because just like the early days of DTG, people read horror stories and they want to buy from a manufacturer that they know is going to be behind that product, and has the budget for all the testing and beta testing and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in a lot of ways too, it's, the people that have been doing it and pushing it forward, right? Like, I think that's why, you get and so we've got to give kudos to people that have been, kind of staying the course, not just slapping machines out there, right? You've got Sean Stewart commenting here, which tool best suits your needs and will help you grow, right? And that's why a company like that Sean's with, and I just blanked on the
American
name.
Print Supply.
Thank you. Good grief, man! I haven't done this for a few weeks, and I'm completely my
So,
brain is.
Sean, where's my custom shirt? I remembered your company name, man.
Anyhow, they've been pushing and then supporting and thinking that way that will help you grow, and so I think that's also helped driven all of that success as well. So, all right, well, let me get to my next one here, Terry.
Okay.
I just was saying, hey, we need better team store options. Options for a lot of people doing, fundraising or team stores and stuff like that. And with all of the, I don't know what you would call it, basically, companies coming together, buying each other, capital companies coming in and that, are outside of the industry and making these different things. I think a lot of changes happen there, and they kind of forgot about a big segment of their customer base, right? And I'll be the first to admit, right? I am not as actively involved in the day to day of a printing business anymore. Our success group has kind of carried me even into other industries and areas and things like that, and so, but I still obviously have mastermind groups of people, and it's a big challenge. So I guess I would say for this, Terry, I'm still waiting, but prove me wrong.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I really believe that in at least the coming year, I guess it didn't come to fruition in the past year, but I think that you're going to see that this team stores are just such a tremendous tool for so many companies, and I think that the opportunities there for somebody to really come in and either improve their product or compete, and by competition, that's also going to bring some of the pricing down as well. So,
yeah. All right. So what's your next one, Terry?
my next one was based on a suggestion from a friend of the show, Tom Rivet at Chicopee High School.
Uh-huh.
He does so much training high school students in garment decorating, and gosh, Tom, it seems like every time I talk to him, he's brought in some other technology that they can teach kids with. And Aaron, of course, with Skills USA, you're a part of this too. But I would like to have more pathways to careers in the industry, but
Mhm.
I'm gonna pause and say I actually want to talk about this a little bit more in the
Okay.
2025 section. So,
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, we'll talk about that in a moment then. So my next one, Terry, was just bookkeeping, accounting, kind of specialized towards the industry. I guess again, from my vantage point, it's still pretty rough out there. In fact, I think just across the board, man, I didn't realize how, I don't know, maybe because you're an accountant and your brain thinks differently, that being a customer oriented, customer focused business is difficult. Like, I just my own personal experience, right? Trying to find new bookkeepers and things like that. Like, can't even get them to call you back or I've had calls scheduled with them and they just ghost you. And so anyhow, not to run down a big long path there, but the way that we need to do our accounting and stuff in this space is a little bit different. And so it'd be really cool to see somebody embrace that and run with it. I know some folks in my mastermind program have got some background in it, and they're talking about some things. So maybe I will encourage them to push a little harder on that. So
this will spill over into 2025 a little bit.
yeah, absolutely.
Aaron, getting that callback, I don't think that's exclusive to bookkeeping and accounting. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many handymen, plumbers,
Oh yeah,
different
that's true.
people they just don't even call you back. And I'm thinking, I literally need you and I want to give you money for what you know how
Yes.
to do, and you can't call me back.
Yeah. I That's
So
funny, Terry, that you say that, because that's actually one of the clients that I work with. I said our success group's taking me outside of the industry a little bit, and I actually work with a local handyman service here, and ultimately we've kind of determined, just call people back and you're going to be successful, and they've got more work than they can handle.
we're gonna have to add that. Do good work, deliver on time, call people back when they call you.
Absolutely.
and,
All right.
and don't complain about not having business.
That's
You
right.
literally
It's
have
out there.
a phone number right there. So,
Yeah.
okay. I talked about building on my 5215 training a little bit, that I was
Mhm.
going to try to reach out a little bit more. I'm going to say that's still in the works.
Okay.
And stay tuned. I have things coming very soon. And Aaron, I mentioned to you that I don't know if a lot of our listeners know that I turned another decade older in late November, and so starting next week, I'm taking that slow step back from day to day, and I'm going to be working Monday through Thursdays for the rest of the year, and to allow me more time to do things like this. So
Very cool. Very
yeah.
cool. All right. So stay tuned. I like that. And then last year, yeah, I kind of piggybacked on that. I'm like, hold ourselves to task a little bit, and we must have missed a few key steps in there, because I wanted to kind of look at a time/priority management system for small business owners, and it's definitely something that I continued to work on. In fact, on my Small Business Saturdays episodes, I've shared a lot of the things that I've used for people to kind of take and utilize it for themselves and whatnot. But to have a specific program, I was working with at the time a member of our Masters of Success program, and they ended up going a different direction. In fact, even just completely out of the space. And so, I'm not making excuses. I just failed to follow through on my commitment, and that's okay, right? And that's part of this whole goal setting thing. Is that sometimes you just have to renegotiate and say, "Yep, sorry, missed it. I'll, here's what we're gonna do." So, I'm not making another commitment to this quite yet. It's definitely on my radar still. Like you said, Terry, stay tuned. Now that you're starting the retirement process,
The slow roll.
maybe, right? That'll be an opportunity, because I can see you've got all of your abilities and skills and knowledge in that scheduling and estimating production time. So who knows how that fits in, right? So lots of fun opportunities there. But I guess to wrap up 2024's thoughts here, Terry, I guess here's hoping we do a little better this year.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah, that's right. And
And as
that's
you
the
said, we
best way
want
to
to.
go, right? Let it go and move forward.
Yeah, exactly. As you said, we're going to tighten it up. So I'm going to push forward here.
Let's do it.
So I know that this exists in pockets, but and I'm referring back to the high school and college internship programs.
Uh-huh.
But I want to come at it from a different angle now.
Okay.
We've got Printing United Alliance as our trade association. They know people. They've got their eyes and ears in shops all over the country. And mentioning Tom Rivet at Chicopee High School. Well, I think that as a project, that Printing United Alliance should grab all those resources out there for something like this, and be able to give people a fill in the blank kind of guide to setting up programs like this. Because usually when people say, "Oh, that's a great idea," I don't know where to start. And if Printing United would take this on as a project, it would hugely help the industry,
Yep.
and it would help all their members and non-members to set up programs like this. So that's my thought.
Okay.
I think we should place it in the hands of Printing United to help us build these high school and college internship programs.
Okay. All right. That's good. Yeah, I like that. I'm just racking my brain to get going. Okay. Well, you know what? We've got some people coming up at the end of the month from Printing United. Obviously,
Yep.
we get to work very closely with them, because they do care about our industry, and it shows. And so we love working with them to make sure that the programs like this are at least, yeah, what, yes, no, what do you guys see and think? So, yeah, let's figure out how to get that move forward. I like that, Terry. So good one.
Cool.
All right. And just real quick before I get into mine, again, I know we need to tighten up, but you guys, this is your opportunity. If you're tuned in live right now, what would you like to see in 2025? I've got a slot coming up here where I've kind of left that open for you. And I know Doug put one in earlier, so we'll start there. But anything else that you guys would like to see, go ahead and start now. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a couple here to go. And I guess for me, Terry, I'm going to start off with something that people might go, oh, this is a little self-serving, Aaron. But I'm going to preface this with, I put my heart and soul into this because not to be self-serving, but because I really do truly believe that we need to kind of have some opportunities. I call it the uncommon mindset. I talk about it all the time. And I don't know, Terry, in all the years that I've been here, it seems like there's a pattern of the companies that don't quite make it. And that pattern is they just don't have a good solid foundation. They don't think big picture enough. They don't think about their mindset enough. We don't realize how crucial that is to our success. And so I guess, asking people, listeners, businesses out there to say, how can you focus on, if you're a business owner, your own mindset or helping your employees, those types of things. And I know that we have amazing products and technology and things like that, but I have seen people with what some would consider inferior technology be very successful. And I've seen people that have all the toys be out of business like that. Right. I mean, you've seen it too, I'm sure, Terry.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody enters, especially a small business entrepreneur. You come in with certain skills. I'm a great artist, or my technical abilities with this equipment is because I spent 10 years working for another company running these machines. But all this makes it, as you say, focus on mindset training is it makes you a well-rounded business.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
because you can't just be a great artist. You also have to be a great business manager. And I love the fact that you mentioned the employees and their mindset, because that's so important that your employees buy in to what it is you're doing and feel like they're a part of the success of your business. Because anybody who thinks they just have somebody that's punching the clock, that's you, that's not them. They want to feel like they're part of something successful. They spend a better part of their days and weeks and years with you, and they want you to be successful, and they want to be successful, and they want to be a part of that. So
absolutely. Well, I guess so. To just kind of wrap this one up, though, Terry, in 2025, what I'd specifically like to see is more companies, business owners specifically, take some of their focus of revenue, making more money, and their focus on the latest and greatest toys, technology, right? The how-tos, and just kind of come to the realization that a growth-oriented mindset is probably the more crucial thing than the next shiny object. And I so believe this, Terry, that I'm continuing to put out workshops. I do a podcast every Saturday, Small Business Saturday at noon every Saturday. And I'm even partnering up with one of my close friends to do a retreat in April to really kind of dig into that. So I know this information is available, and I live it daily. But I definitely get this sense that people go, oh, that's neat, Aaron, but next, right? And that's okay, right? I'm not for everybody. I'm not saying I'm the solution. What I'm saying is give yourself that gift of getting into what makes you successful, why you started this business to begin with, and be more connected to the success you already have inside of yourself. You just need to unlock that, right? So I don't know. I just hear all the time the commiserating and all of that happening, yet nobody realizes that the key to overcoming that scarcity thinking and managing the burnout that comes along with it is not to go get more revenue or to, try to figure out the next toy, right? I loved playing with toys too, so don't get me wrong here, but it's finding your purpose in your business, and then from there, then you can go get more revenue, and then you can get the toys, and right. But people are going the opposite way, and then they can't figure out why they struggle over and over year after year. So
Exactly. Well, I love the idea of retreat. When I was in Kansas City, our 5-person management team would go every year for a long weekend and just talk about the business and talk
Yep.
about the employees and talk about, what we would like to see as a team. And
Yep.
it was, man, we came back and everybody was just fired up,
Yep.
to,
Yep.
and sometimes you have to get outside your business to be able to do that kind of thing and just focus on that. So.
Absolutely. All right, Terry, what's your next one?
I think everybody should have a promotions calendar, and to keep you honest, and I'll give you an example. I had somebody tell me that it was probably 3 years ago that I have an employee that she is younger, and she's going to be doing just a quick TikTok about our products, and she's going to she'll be doing one a week. And so I saw the first one, waiting for the second one 3 years later. and and so, because if it's not a part of your calendar, then it's what I'm saying, that every Thursday morning, we're going to do this thing. It's like 52-15
Yep.
every Monday morning, and Monday morning, and you can't skip a Monday, because then that rolls into skipping 3 Mondays.
Yep.
But think about some things that you would like to do to promote your business, and that's not just doing a TikTok or an Instagram post, which is all well and good, but plan it out so that you have consistency. And my secret sauce today, Aaron, is about screen printing specialty inks. So what about a promotion where you take one of your regular customers and you take their logo and you print 4, 5, 6 different specialty inks of their logo on a garment and put it in a box? And yeah, that's going to take you a little bit of time. And it's, if you're sending 5 t-shirts, you're going to have $20 invested in this. But to put in front of your customers or potential customers what you're capable of doing for them, I will. Aaron, I've said this on the show before. Back when I first started out and I was looking for business, every single time, 100% success. Every time I did, it just took somebody's logo and put it on a shirt and walked in and handed it to them in their business. Every single time I got an order. It might not have been a big order, but it was an order. And guess what? Now I have a customer that I can keep going back to. So, it's Jay Bassell during COVID. He and I did a webinar talking about a promotional package. And in that promotional package, it was a variety of items that your customer might want to buy from you, or offer that service to your customers that you can send to their customers. So anyway, promotions calendar. Think about, it's January. Let's think about how we're going to promote a business this year, and then stick to your schedule.
Yeah. And then you might realize that TikTok's possibly going away in a week or two.
Exactly right.
Anyhow, sorry.
Be a little fluid with this.
Yeah, be a little fluid. Yeah. No, okay. All right. Sorry, I had to pop that in there. I don't know if that's actually true. Everyone, just wait until. Hang on. All right.
Unless the court changes it. I mean, I don't think that there's a choice now. I think it's law. So.
Yeah. But I've heard some different things out there. So, yeah. Okay. So
I know one of those guys from Shark Tank is trying to buy it.
Yep. And the guy who used to own the Dodgers, they're in this thing together. And so anyhow, okay, let's get back on track, Terry. I apologize. That's on me. All right. So for my next one, Terry, I feel like I need to invite Cassie Green in for this one, but I'm going to do my best to say what I believe Cassie would say. And I want to say this because I believe in it as well. I'm not sure I've done the work that Cassie's done to, in fact, I know I haven't, other than bringing Cassie in here. But we need better eco-friendly solutions across all decorating methods. I think, all of the waste that we keep hearing about, we kind of keep getting put out in the greater space as this example of what not to do in certain cases. And I think it's imperative for the future of our industry to actually be the example for um, changing things. Like Jed always says about diversity inclusion. Wants our industry to be the example for that. I think we also need to see it in this eco-friendly solution area. So I guess I'd like to see the manufacturers focused on developing more sustainable consumables, for example, technologies that produce less waste and are more energy efficient. And I think key here, Terry, to me is a lot of greenwashing has been done in this arena, it feels like.
Right.
But I'm hoping for real solutions. Right. And again, I'm not in the trenches daily, and maybe I'm missing something. And Cassie can probably speak to that when we have her have her back at some point here in this.
And will.
Yep, absolutely. But I think the other side of it too is there are some potential things that we can do out there. And again, Gary and Cassie both were sharing things that we could do. I think it's more of an adoption issue too. Now, I understand that, right? You've got to weigh the cost of it, and do your customers really care and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? Even if your customers don't care right now, they probably don't care because they're not educated enough. And so, you can be the one that educates them and just keep that conversation going, I guess, is what I'd like to see.
Well, look at our Reggie Awards for Product of the Year. Caesar with their new, basically, I want to say cut vinyl, but I don't. It's not vinyl, but underground, it biodegrades.
Yeah.
And it's just a simple step, but I was pretty amazed by that. I was not. I don't do any of that type of decorating, so I wasn't even aware of that. But that's certainly a step in the direction you're talking about.
Definitely. All right, what's next here, Terry?
My next one is think outside the box for new employees, and I'm going to say I feel like I was ahead of my time on this because I had work at home employees 30 plus years ago, because and it was me sitting me, Aaron, got the junior legal pad, and I'm sitting in my office thinking, how am I going to keep some of these great employees? And my example at the time was I had someone, and I think everybody's experienced this, 6 weeks maternity leave, and then you get the phone call at 6 weeks going, I don't want to come back to the office. I want to stay home with my baby. And this was a really, really great employee who was an artist. And I said, let me think about this. And we didn't really have the technology then so much as easy as it is today. But she was doing, she would come by once a week, lived a few blocks away from the office, come by and get art requests. And she'd call me up, and we had our Film Positive printed out on a very expensive Film Positive device that you printed on the roll. And she'd call and say, hey, go turn on the printer. And I turned it on, and feet of Film Positives would just come out of this machine. She was more productive from home with a new baby than she ever was in the office, because nobody was leaning in the doorway saying, so what are you doing this weekend? And so, but then
baby couldn't talk yet. So
then I was like, well, who else could I hire? How else can I hire people to do this? And I needed someone to I did a management deal, Aaron, and we've talked about this, where I had to log what I was doing every 15 minutes. And we determined that 60% of my day was spent scheduling production.
Yeah.
And of course, the instructor said, so that's something you have to do. And I'm like, no, I have a formula. Anyone could do it. And she said, well, why don't you hire someone part-time to do that? And I thought, I should hire a mom or a dad who stays at home with the kids. But when they're in school, they could come in. And so this person, as soon as she dropped her son off at school, she would come in, schedule all the production, head out. And then the next day she would, and we worked around school holidays and things like that. So anyway, trying to think outside the box because there are so many really, really great employees out there that don't necessarily fit into your 8 to 5 workforce. And hey, screen printer, yeah, if you're pulling a squeegee, you pretty much got to be there to do that. But there are a lot of jobs that you can be flexible with, or have some evening shifts for people for second jobs, things like that. But anyway, that's my advice for 2025, or what I would like to see more employers doing. And we've had the guys from Steaks and now I'm going to be the guy blanking the other company we had on.
Darn it! I know exactly which one you're talking about. Spectrum Design.
Spectrum, exactly. And they, they say there are tons of employees out there on the spectrum, and you just need to reach out, and we'll tell you how to do it. That's what these guys said. We will help you hire employees on the spectrum, and there's a huge workforce out there that's untapped, and a variety of different folks. So
yeah, definitely. Okay. Terry, I am going to jump in with my next one here, but actually this was the slot I wanted to leave open for the regulators, and we've already got a couple, so we'll share that.
Okay.
But I'm curious, the rest of you though, what would you all, the regulators, the listeners out there, what do you want to see in 2025? What would be a technology, a software, a service, an opportunity that you would like to see that would make your life and business easier, or just make the industry a better place for all of us?
Super Bowl repeat for the Chiefs. That's what I'd like to see. But okay, go ahead. Keep going.
For all of us, Terry, not just you.
It is for all of us. You just don't know.
Okay. All right. I don't know, Eric, if you can find them because they're ways back there, but I put stars on. Okay, thank you. So Doug shared earlier, my unicorn hope is to see someone create DTF that would have a softness of dye sub with the color saturation of DTF to be able to do transfers on any type of fabric, no more plastic feel.
That's a great suggestion. And, it's so funny because somebody asked me about that. And they said to me, is somebody working on this? And this is probably a month ago. So it's so interesting that Doug brings that up. And I said, I don't know, but surely, because it's become such a big part of our industry, somebody's sitting somewhere futzing around with dyes and substrates and different films. So, but I'm with you, Doug. I'm going to hold out for that.
Love it. All right, so that's a good one. Craig Bradley shared some insights into laser engravers. So I don't know if you have any further detail on that, Craig, but love to talk about that some more.
Aaron, we should. Thanks, Craig, for that. We should bring on some laser engraver folks. I don't recall any time recently where we've had anybody, and a lot of people are very interested in that technology. So, I'd be interested in hearing it. So
yeah, that's a good
maybe
one.
we can find someone, or Craig, maybe you're the person.
It could be. All right, next one. Well, I think the cat was trying to join the conversation earlier. Ramona had some comments that didn't make sense, but then she said, sorry, cat's on the keyboard. So I was like, okay, the cat. So what does the cat want for 2025, Ramona? That's the inquiring minds want to know. But Simply Embroidery had mentioned how to utilize internships. So that's a really good one. And in fact, I think you spoke to that a little bit earlier, Terry, with and maybe it wasn't specifically about internships, but that pathway into the industry, and that could be part of it, right? An internship program. I like that. And I'm trying to also copy these so we get them into our show notes here. But Ramona said white toner might be the back burner tech, but it is out there and it does a great job for what it does. Bring Joe or Chuck on for that. Yeah, absolutely. Reggie award winning Joseph Eric from the Magic Touch. We should definitely, that's a good call. Thank you, Ramona. Absolutely. And then Ramona says lasers can be used for decoration on fabric. It's not just for wood. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Good stuff there.
Awesome.
So, okay. So if you guys have any others, definitely pop them in there. And Doug says some textile chemists need to work on this. It would be a total game changer, would shake up the entire DTF industry. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Aaron, I'm sure you remember this 22 years ago or 20 years ago that talking to DuPont and Scott Fresner goes, no, we need white ink. And the chemists at DuPont say, no, it's impossible. And he just kept saying, but we need it. Someone needs to figure out how to do this. And one of the chemists called him later and he goes, I think I have an idea. And that was the birth of white ink in DTG printing.
Yep.
Scott Fresner just saying, no, we have to have it. There must be a way. You guys have all these chemists. There has to be a way. And they're all shaking their head no. And one guy's sitting in the back of the room going, well, wait a minute. What if we try this? So
yeah, I love it.
It's out there.
Yeah, definitely. So keep beating that drum there, Doug. I love it. Okay, Terry. Well, let's get to the next one here. We are
try to move.
We're already breaking our New Year's resolution, but that's okay.
I know. We still have secret sauce. I hope to see a calming down of the DTF industry. I think that a lot of people are super confused. It's a whirlwind of cold peel, hot peel, instant peel. Adhesive powder is the great Satan. Adhesive powder is not so bad. Yeah. And, interestingly enough, as a side note here, Aaron, DTF, just like every other technology, it's going to take over, for instance, DTG. And I personally have seen not a cooling down of DTF sales. It cooled down a little bit on DTG for a few months, maybe a year, but there's been a real renewed interest in DTG technology again. And I think kind of like what Doug was talking about, people, especially screen printers, t-shirt snobs like myself, like that more screen print feel. And you can get that with DTG, and you can also do DTF transfers on any DTG machine. So I'm talking about two different things here, but I guess what I really want to say is I hope in 2025 we have some more standardization of how we accomplish this DTF task.
Yeah,
with softer prints.
Yep. With softer prints. There you go. Adding Doug's part in there. I love it. Yeah, because even I don't want to get too deep into it, but doing the DTF on your DTG machine, it still has that feel, but it's not. It's the adhesive, right? That is kind of bringing some of that. But then Correct. When you start kind of messing with the adhesive, then the adhesive starts to get so fine that it becomes dangerous.
Right.
And so there's this balance, right? So,
right.
Yeah. Okay. Let me keep going here. So my next one, Terry, is I like to see more diversity in the blanks distribution process. I know there are some other smaller little guys out there, but I honestly just hear people kind of constantly going to the big two. I would call it. Maybe there's
be the big five, the big six, the big seven.
Yeah, exactly. Now we kind of got the big two. And so and I don't, like I said, I know there's some littler guys out there, but how can the little guys make it easier, right? I think that's what is so appealing about the big two is they've worked so hard to make it easy for the customers to purchase. And maybe this comes from, as an industry, we need wider adoption of tools like, just a shout out to our soon to be sponsor Promo Hunt, right? That's what they're trying to do is make it easier for people to have more diversity there. And I guess at the end of it, though, the reason why this felt like something that is worth looking at is I don't think it does our industry any favors to have everyone sourcing from two main places. That kind of doesn't give a lot of incentive for them to do better or to innovate or to, we saw with the issues with getting stock in, right? There was not a whole lot of incentive for them to do anything more than just the way that it is, right? Kind of throw their hands up. We're going to pass all this cost on to you. Okay, great, right? So now I know that then caused some people to look at different things, but I don't think we should wait for another catastrophe to be kind of diversifying where we're looking and how we're looking for blanks.
We're one more merger away from buying our blanks from Skynet.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, and that's just the ebb and flow of any industry, right? They get successful. People come in and want to be part of that. They want to get their piece of the pie, but then they find out that people need a little bit more diversity, and so it just kind of balances itself out. And it does seem like we're in the middle of all of these mergers. And I mean, heck, we've been hearing merger reports on the news for the last however long, right? Adrian even shared the Grimco news again today. So,
right.
yeah,
100%. I agree with you. And in the thought of being somewhere close on time, I'm going to jump ahead.
Okay.
Aaron, I think in the first or second year of doing this, we talked about this. Of course, and my area here is blue check mark as a recognized authority. And of course, 10 years ago, there were no blue check marks, but you guys know what I'm talking about. And there's just so much misinformation out there. And, for instance, here's my example. I thought several years ago that the whole concept of flashing between colors was in screen printing had finally been tamped down and wasn't out there. It's back with a vengeance. I can't do a screen printing class anymore where somebody goes, wait a minute, aren't you going to flash between colors? Because on the internet, they say it's just, so I'm going to go back to our friends at Printing United Alliance.
Yeah.
And you guys come up with that recognized authority badge that people can put on their logo or in their social media that, Printing United Alliance says this person knows what they're talking about. Now, I'm not talking about, there are lots of differences of opinion out there in the world, and that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about giving wrong, bad, dated information. And it's just, it flabbergasts me because, I'm talking to new people in the industry every time I do a class, and I'm just dumbfounded that there's so much poor, wrong information being, distributed freely on the internet. So
yeah, I agree.
United, you have a lot of work to do.
We're sending a lot of things your way, Amanda. If you're listening right now, we'll be in touch. But I think that's really good. Now, I would preface that, Terry, or not preface that. It kind of add my kind of 2 cents to that real quick.
Okay.
Let's not make it like some of those check marks out there. If you pay $15.95 a month, that you get a check mark, right? Let's actually make it merit based, not how much money's in your wallet based.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying Printing United Alliance that could come up with guidelines of, So anyway,
I love it.
A big ask, but I think it's
a
much better chance now than 10 years ago, the first time we brought it up.
So. Yeah, I agree. Okay. Let's round this out, and we can't not round this out without bringing Eric into the conversation. I'm going to go ahead and share it for Eric just for the sake of time here. But we asked Eric to say, what's something that you would like to see in 2025? And I think in years past, he's maybe joined us for this and stuff like that too. So I don't know why we didn't ask him, but we still love you, Eric. So he's shared this, and I think this is a really good one, by the way. He's hoping to see embroiderers of all stripes join the bigger trade discussion and kind of expand the sense of belonging in the larger industry. He's found himself at a lot of tables with printers and other decorators where he's kind of the lone ambassador of embroidery, and where embroidery was an afterthought over the years. It's undeniably a part of the industry, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. And he wants to see embroiderers growing and moving, and especially he wants to see the increasingly fast-changing print industry continue to pick up the pace. And so for embroiderers, that means stretching the boundaries a bit, embracing enhanced decorating options, incorporating other media, multimedia product. That's awesome. And on the working on the business front, we'll use the quotes there, engaging in the larger conversation about how we operate, market, and move through the world. So I like that. I think that's a really good one, Terry.
I do too, and hearing Eric's words here, you're right. Embroidery is kind of on its own island over here, and I think that's a great suggestion that everybody joined together as decorators, not screen printers, embroiderers. And for our podcast listeners, I'm reaching in all different directions.
I love it. All right. Well, we are in the bonus time. So our first show of the year, our New Year's resolution, we've already broken it. But here, I'm not justifying. We're going to continue to work on this. This is a show that we've been doing for a long time, and it's always been one that goes long because we want to make sure that we kind of cover it all and look back. And I think it's a really good place to kind of go, okay, 2005, let's stick our flag in the ground. Let's do this. Let's move forward, kind of recognize what we learned from the past and what we have hopes for the future. So,
you know what? What about this, Aaron? Next year, we do one show talking about the past resolutions, past things we'd like to do. The next week, we do what we'd like to see in the future.
Okay.
So,
all right. I like that. I like that idea. So stay tuned all this year, and then next year we'll do that. In fact, somebody needs to make a note on a junior yellow legal pad about that.
If we forget, somebody will go, I thought you guys were going to do 2 shows this year.
yeah, exactly. So somebody remind us, but Terry, you've got the junior yellow legal pad there. So make it happen. All right. So what is coming up for you, Terry, in 2025? Where can people come and see you in person?
Okay, my complete screen printing business course. My next class at Workhorse Products was actually supposed to be the first weekend of February, but they are in the middle of a renovation in their facility, and all the equipment is out of the showroom. And so talked to Tyler yesterday, and he said, Terry, I don't think there's any way we're going to be done in time for this class. So we are rescheduling that one for probably sometime soon after the Long Beach show. Okay. But my next class in Chicago will be at Atlas Screen Supply, March 15th and 16th. Speaking of Long Beach, I'll be out there talking about DTG and DTF printing, which technology is best for you. And of course, I'll be in the Equipment Zone booth in Long Beach as well. How about you, Aaron?
Well, I've got to make sure that I get wrapped up because in about 20 minutes, I'm doing the second part of my Goals to Reality webinar series. So there is still time to join us and sign up for that. You can watch yesterday's episode. It's recorded and you can go back and catch it anytime. So just go to osg.link/goal and register for that. And then you'll get all the information about today's class in 19 minutes and then go from there. Other thing, I mentioned that I was partnering with somebody to do a retreat, and it's called the Summit of Success. It's April 10th through the 12th, and it's all-inclusive registrations, only $1,500. It covers your meals, lodging, all the sessions, and there's only 11 rooms available. They are double occupancy, so if you have 2 people in the room, it actually reduces the cost for each person down to $1,000 for all of that, meals, lodging, everything. And it's probably the one time during the year that as a small business owner, you have no decisions to make. You just get to be there and grow and build and think about your business, like Terry was talking about with what they were doing there. So if you go to osg.link/SOS, you can get more information. You can also reach out to my partner in this, Becky Kotzer, directly via email at becky@bkcustomsd.com, or reach out to me directly as well if you have questions about that. I did mention earlier that every Saturday we do Small Business Saturday. It's at noon. If you go to Live OSG, you can check that out. Tomorrow's show will be recorded, but it will be up at noon Central Time for you to check out. So we are actually going to brave our way through the snow and drive to Cincinnati, Ohio today. My son is playing in a volleyball tournament up there. So we got another couple inches of snow last night, and it should be a white knuckle drive. So I'm a little anxious about that, but we'll be okay.
You won't have any football traffic. So
that's a good point. You will, though.
I will. Yeah. The Rams game is going to be here this weekend because of the fires. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So Eric, for him, he's got the Take Up episode 213, Making Money with Machine Embroidery Segments, Styles, and Profiles Revisited. We'll revisit an evergreen topic as I share multiple ways my friends, and my clients have used embroidery and digitizing to make money. And when I say I, that means Eric. The discussion is going to be about shop setups and styles, market segments, customer profiles, and potential products. So if you're a cottage industry creative who wants to sell custom pieces, a piecework decorator, or pushing many multi-head machines, you can join Eric at 2:30 p.m. Mountain Time to discuss and share live with him in this new year. So Eric will also be at the Impressions Expo in January, teaching both the Technique Toolkit and Embroidery RX. So if you head over to impressionsexpo.com for more information, you can get out there and see Eric in Long Beach, California, coming up very soon. And I know, I'm sorry, Eric, you got to get on a plane soon. All right, Terry, it's Secret Sauce time.
Do we have time? Do you have to get out?
We'll make it work.
Okay, I'm ready then.
Okay.
Eric. All right, my secret sauce today is enhance your screen printing business with specialty ink. So why should I stray from what I know? Well, I hope I don't need to tell anyone. They need to grow their skills, grow their appeal to potential customers, and in a nutshell, grow your business. Using specialty inks will separate you from your competition. Most don't do anything other than traditional plastisol. Using specialty inks will give your current customers new options for their garments, expanding sales opportunities for the customers you already have. We should all know this. It's easier to sell more to your current customers than prospecting for new ones. And when current or new customers see the kinds of things you're capable of doing, I believe it improves your standing in the marketplace. So, first of all, it's not hard. Let's talk about just a couple of specialty ink options that can be accomplished with the tools you already have on your production floor. First is puff ink. Puff ink is probably the easiest specialty treatment you can offer your customers. Puff ink is a product that has a blowing agent that puffs up under heat, gives you a raised 3D effect. You can either buy puff already pre-mixed or buy it as an additive so you can mix it with the plastisol on your shelf. And I like the additive because every ink I have on my shelf can also be a puff ink, so every color. So try this. On the next order you do, whether it's a one color or more, after the order is done, switch out one color with puff ink. Take the ink out of the screen, mix in some puff additive, and then print one more garment. Put it on top of the shirts in the box and write a note and wait for the phone to ring. Suede ink. Suede ink is one of my absolute favorite specialty inks. I wrote an article probably 30 years ago titled Suede Ink, the ink no one has ever heard of. And guess what? In the last 30 years, no one has still heard of it. I have a theory. It's that suede ink, when it comes in, it says the container says suede puff. Puff ink is always printed through a very low mesh count. But if you print suede ink through a very low mesh count, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't puff. So my guess is people buy it, they print it through a low mesh count, and when it doesn't work, it goes on the shelf and nobody ever touches it again. So with suede ink, you're going to print through a 230 mesh. It's pretty high mesh count for screen printing. So why is it my favorite? Two reasons. One, your customer has probably never seen it before. And two, it has a really cool 3D look, but a very smooth feel. And it literally feels like suede on the garment. The last one I want to share is foil. Foil isn't a specialty ink, but it's a specialty application. It's easy to do, it's inexpensive to do, and your customer, they're going to be wowed when they see it. So if you want a book or a Bible with a name stamped in gold on the cover, that's the exact same foil. It comes in a variety of colors, so you can do seasonal items. You can do Christmas, red and green, lots more than that as well. So foil adheres to regular plastisol or to an extra sticky plastisol called foil adhesive. So you print the image, you run it down the dryer belt. Now you're ready to add foil. The foil comes in rolls. You can cut a piece bigger than the image area, lay the shirt on your heat press, place the foil on top, bring down the heating element, and press for 10 seconds. Let it cool, peel that foil sheet off, and you have a foiled image on your shirt. Print an extra garment next time you're doing a job and apply foil to that extra shirt just like before. Put it in the box with a note and wait for the phone to ring. There are multiple specialty inks out there to try in your shop, and in no time, you will separate your business from all of your competition by using specialty inks. That's my secret sauce for today.
Awesome, Terry. Great secret sauce. Thank you for sharing that. And again, enhance your business. I could see all of the other decorating techniques in that idea. So really good job.
Awesome.
Okay,
And
Terry.
tied up like a bow.
That's right. Nicely done. Nicely done. Okay. Well, we have come to the close of another show. I want to thank you guys for joining our annual show and allowing us to go long. We're curious what you're going to implement. Did we get anybody to do some thinking? Maybe we need to be reaching out to some people. I know, Terry, you and I have a list of things that we're going to take from that. So leave it in the comments or reach out to us on social media and let us know what other things we need to be looking forward to in 2025. So
perfect.
Great show, Terry.
Awesome. You as well. And thanks to our show producer, Eric Campbell, for turning the knobs and pushing the buttons and keeping us on track every week.
Yeah, really appreciate it, Eric, very much. Next week's show, we've got Patrick Ali going to be joining us to share some, information about what's new with Caesar and what that means for the industry. I'm sure we'll talk pretty deeply about that eco-friendly product and everything they've got going on over there. So looking forward to having that conversation with Patrick next week, Terry.
Absolutely, me as well. Until then, I'm Terry Combs. He's Aaron Montgomery.
And that was the Two Regular Guys.
Here we go. We're out.
Awesome.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Two Regular Guys. We're here because of listeners like you, and we're so grateful to have you on this journey with us. For more valuable insight, be sure to visit our website, 2regularguys.com, and join the conversation on our Facebook page. And hey, if you or someone you know has expertise, a unique perspective, or a story worth sharing, we'd love to have them as a guest on the show. Just reach out. Remember, success in this industry isn't just about the equipment you own or the techniques you've mastered. It's about the mindset you bring and the connections you build. Keep learning, stay curious, and don't be afraid to think differently. Keep pressing on, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the Two Regular Guys.